guys, welcome back to the channel. Sixth Lord, this is the legal cases in which we can lose or win a lot of money. So we have two charts today. One is of Kearns and one is Elaine Burr. So we have a winner, huge amount of money, and the other person is also losing, and also due to the negligence of the hygiene related to a meat shop, 21 people died, and also there was like 200 hospitalized cases. So it was really a serious case, and we will see how in this chart we can differentiate between these two situations. So the focus will be the sixth house and the sixth lord. We know that the Karaka, or the significator of the sixth house, is Mars, similarly for the third house. So as we can see, the dushnas, they are like divided into that line of ascendant and descendant. The third and sixth on the lower, the nadir point, are related to this Mars. So it's more about anger and weapon and using the force. And then we have this 8 and 12 on the upper side, close to this Vishnu. These are this Saturnian related houses. So the 8th house Karaka significator and the 12th house significators are the Saturn. The 12th house are for the losses. Okay, so we are going straight into the first case. This is the Kearns, and he was the inventor of what we know today. This is for us already normal standardized things in the cars. This is the intermittent windshield wiper system. So before it was that the wiper system was continuously going like that. After his invention, it was more like for a second and then a stop, for a second and then again stop. So this is his invention. This is Kearns. So if you have this system in the car, and you probably have, because after 69 everyone has this, so you know whom to say thank you. So he was the engineer, the educator, and the first patent he did in December 1964. And it's interesting because previously he was also serving in the US Army, as most of a man in his age, due to the war circumstances, but he was so intelligent that he was also drawn by the CIA at the time. He also has a PhD, and his inspiration for this innovation related to this wiper system in the cars comes from the fact that he was blinded at the times of his wedding to his champagne cork, which end up in his eye. So this was also a very unfortunate situation, which has led to very fortunate situation because this invention, and then the legal case with the big companies like Chrysler and Ford, from which he get a huge amount of money, because they just stolen this invention, this patent of his, and they didn't want to acknowledge that it was his. So he put this legal case. No, this is the one underdog, and even because this is the underdog story, the Hollywood loves this. Even a movie was created based on this story. So this is very interesting case for the chart reading too. So this was the inspiration from the champagne cork, because this is related to this. He was thinking how the eye blinds also. So this is like for a second, and then he thought that this continuous thing, it is very distracting. So he is getting now the same effectiveness, but the distraction is gone with this innovation of his. If we see his chart, he is the Cancer Lagna, and you know that the Sun and Moon are related to eye. So Sun is in the 8 and Moon is in 12, both in the Dushtana. So this is a very problematic situation. Also, we see that the 9th Lord, which is of fortune, of luck, if that is afflicted or in Dushtana, like in this case, this is normally showing a situation where the one is in a bad place in a bad time. So in a situation like this, when he's really harmed in some way due to such accidents, then the 9th Lord definitely in such charts will be placed in such situation. So we see that this Sun and Moon are in Dushtana. This is the first thing. Secondly, we see that the second lord is, which is related to the wealth, right, is in the 8th house of other people's money. So if the second lord is an 8 or a 12, then we have that situation and one can access a big part of money. But now, because this is joining the Jupiter, and now this is the 6th lord. So now the 6th lord is all about the legal case. We see that the second lord in the 8th, this is the access to the others people's wealth. But because this is related to the 6th lord in the 8th house, this is related to some kind of enmity or legal case or such situation. And we see also that in Jupiter and houses we have that Venus and Mercury. So this Venus and Mercury are showing some rajas. So this is this innovation, this is this money. And money, because this is in 11th from the Aruda Lagna, so we can see that Aruda Lagna is with Mars. This can give the person involved in an army, but also the engineer and technician. This Mars is also Vargotam, so it's bringing the name and reputation coming from such involvement. And then the 11th from the the Aruda Lagna would be this Venus and Mercury, and Venus is exalted, Mercury is debilitated, and we already know that when exalted and debilitated planets are in the 11th from the Aruda Lagna, then this is making a person very wealthy. So we see that in the chart. So we can see that this boon of Mercury and Venus are there waiting in the 9th house. So this is also like a luck, portion of luck for him, but because the dispositor is in the also the 6th lord is in the 8th, shows that he has to access this through this legal case. Now this is joining the 2nd lord in the 8th, so this is the accessing the wealth of others. We could also say that this benefics, they are in Dushtana, so this may show that there is the lack of protection, that the Kendra especially, we can see that the moon is loading the Lagna, is in the 12th house, and being the benefic also may show that one is a low profile, one is not protecting enough. And then we also see that the 9th lord is in the 8th house, so this is also showing that one is giving up the fortune. So initially they took it from him, it was possible for them to do this, so this may show that other people can attack you. But because they are joining the malefics, the Lagna lord moon is joining Rahu exalted, wow, and the 9th lord, the benefics, is also joining the sun, so now he is fighting for it, also because this Jupiter is the 6th lord, so there is some enmity. He is provoked in this situation of losing that or giving up that fortune. So because there are the malefic, and also in the Navamsha we will see that Atma Karaka is in the 5th house, which shows that the person is into Dharma, because there are 9th house to the Navamsha Lagna, so person is very much into Dharma. And then the 7th house has this Mercury and Ketu, so this is the Mercury inflicted, may show the legal case, and this is in the 3rd from the Karakamsha, so this shows that the person is ready to fight for this. And in the Dashamsa, just short comment that the 10th and 3rd, they have Parivartana, so this is some working with either agreements basis or in the tools basis. This is what the 3rd house is showing. The Rahu is in the Lagna, giving that something in his mind, which brought the CIA agency interest, and also the Mars in the 10th house probably is showing that the army involvement before. So this Dashamsa is right. What I wanted to show here is that the position of the 6th lord is connected to the 2nd house in the 8th. This is the accessing the wealth of others, and he is getting this from the boon is waiting in the 9th house, because the dispositor is at Jupiter, so he is getting that huge wealth when he will be ready to fight for it, because the 6th lord is involved there. So this was the chart of Robert Kearns. And one more thing, the amount of money he get from these two companies, Ford and Chrysler, was $395 million. So now you can see that when debilitated and exalted planet in 11th from Aruda Lagna, this is the huge amount of money. 9th house, this is like a fortune, right? Because this is in fortune, misfortune. You will see here that there's benefics in 9th, 9th lord in the 8th. So there's this factor that he needs to take part in that legal case to access that boon in the 11th house. Okay guys, so if you have found some value in this video so far, please click the thumbs up. It helps me with the visibility on this YouTube platform. Also, if you would like to be notified about similar videos in the future, please click the subscribe button with the bell notification on. And now let's go to the second example. Okay, the less fortunate chart, we have this of Elaine Burr. She was working with the husband and the son Martin, and then related to the negligence of the hygiene standards related to meat. And there was an outbreak of the E. coli bacteria, 0157, very dangerous thing, and 21 people died and 400 cases or hospitalization. So this was very unfortunate for them, and this made them bankrupt for a year. As you can imagine, this was also very bad for them, how they felt about the whole situation and so on. So in this case, we see the chart is very similar, but it's the Leo Lagna now, the Simha, and Aruda Lagna is now joined the exalted moon, not the Mars. So previously we had the Mars, which was giving this engineering sector. Now we have the moon, which is showing the food sector person is working. And this is also a very successful chart from that perspective, because we have also this Aruda Lagna exalted moon, and 11 also has the same Mercury Venus, so probably the shop was very good. The problem, however, here is that Saturn, Mars, Rahu in the 11th house, because first of this is Maraka to many points. This is a Maraka. Maraka is the 2nd and 7th, so Maraka can end something prematurely. It's like there is no sustenance power to things go on. So therefore, if you have malefics in the 11th house, this can give a huge wealth for some time, and then you are punished and your projects are broken. You cannot sustain them. The Saturn Mars yoga is, as we know, the Yama yoga, which is giving the death. And there's the sixth lord again. So this is showing the either legal case, especially this is more pronounced as a legal case because it's joining the Badaka now, or the lord of Badaka, Mars. We know that the four fixed signs, which Leo is, the Badaka house is the ninth house. The Badaka is all about the Agantuka Adrishta, something which is external and invisible. So for legal cases, very often we have a sixth lord connected to the Badaka, like in this case. And now we have even that Rahu, so this is giving this now Kujastambana yoga, and we have also the Shraddha or a Pitra dosha here. So this is very negative, the 11th house. And now this is in the second from the moon, in the second from Aruda Lagna, and in the second from the 10th house. So this is like something is happening in the life which is related to 6 and 7. 6 is about legal cases and 7 is about the clients, right? The 7th house is both partnership and clients, and the Saturn Mars is showing the death. So because of that, we can see that in exactly that time, it was the Saturn Mars, this outbreak happened, and this has stopped totally the business, because we see the moon exalted Aruda Lagna. This is the business related to that shop they had, and that was stopped because of these malefics in the second house from that position. And because this was involving the 6th, this is the legal cases, and the 7th lord Rahu is also there, so this legal cases is related to clients, and the Yama yoga is there, so there is some death happening, and this all is in the Maraka from the 10th house from the Aruda Lagna, and the 2nd from moon. So if the 2nd from moon is afflicted, then your career life will have a big dip when it comes to a fortune. And also, like in the previous case, in the Navamsha, in the 7th house, we have this Mercury and Ketu. So there was some legal case related to publishing, right? Mercury in the Cancer sign it was. But here in the 7th house in the Navamsha, we have Jupiter and Rahu, which is the death yoga. So we know that if Jupiter, Rahu, or Saturn, Jupiter, this is the martyrs combination in the Navamsha, especially visible, and especially in the Kendra. And here in the 7th house is showing the karma we got with other people. So we have here this Jupiter Rahu is placed in the 7th house, which is quite interesting to observe how the 7th house in the Navamsha may have some something to do with the legal cases. In the D10 we have that Saturn 7th lord aspect by Rasi Drishti moon, so this is show type of business, so this is business related to the moon. And I assume that Saturn, it means that there was the big part of frozen food, because Saturn, especially in the Aquarius, shows the articles which are frozen or old or are staying in one place for a long time, like gas or oils and things like that. Especially the gas, the oils are more in the Capricorn. So these frozen items are definitely shown by Saturn, and these are frozen food because the moon is also aspecting by the Rasi Drishti. So important point that this Saturn and Rahu are not only in the 2nd from Aruda Lagna, but they are also 10th lords from the moon, right? Because the moon is in Taurus, so Aquarius will be the 10th from the moon, which is loaded by Saturn and Rahu. So the Saturn and Rahu will be in 2nd from the moon, so that is there giving these problems. Okay guys, so these were these 2 examples. The first was very fortunate of Robert Kearns, and we have saw that the 6th lord was involved with the 2nd and 8th, which shows accessing the wealth of others, and this was the boon waiting in the 9th house. Dispositor was that 6th lord, so he was getting that through the legal case. So the Venus and Mercury were very nicely placed in that chart. In the second one, however, we see that the Dushtana lords are connected to the 10th house, because the moon exalted, but this is the 12th lord, and also the 10th lord Venus was in the 8th house, so this can cause the bankruptcy for the person. And we also have seen that the 6th lord position now was in very bad yoga, and this was with the 7th house, so this has to do something with the clients. This was Yama yoga, so this was the death of the clients, and this has totally stopped the professional life of the person, because it was involved in the 2nd from the moon, 10th from the moon, and also 10th from the Lagna, which is the how the projects are finishing, and also 2nd from the Aruda Lagna, which can make the whole standing in the society halted or stopped. Okay guys, so these 2 examples, that's it for today. I hope you find it interesting and informative. If you do, please click the thumbs up, subscribe for more, and see you in the next one.